we taught to have to be selfish? Because if we weren't so good for the economy. Thank you. To qualify something for you, the word economy came from the Greek language. The word economia, meaning household management. The implication with the word household management, and I'm sorry my batteries are running out.
I ain't got batteries, no? Well, it's both Poundland and single. I've only been megaphoning for like 10 minutes already. I'm on the backup set. Well, there must be fault where you were. There might be, but the thing is, it doesn't surprise me whatsoever because everything that is produced in our society is inherently...
We're back here to remind people that you got people working for their benefits and nothing else but their benefits in your shop and other shops around the country, and we just thought we'd better let people know that you're taking the mickey. You know, you got people in your shop stacking shelves just for their benefit. You know, it's not as if you're not making enough money, is it? I'd much rather be at home asleep in my bed. But someone needs to let people know what you're doing. Okay, what you're doing is not giving people a job. You're not helping people. You're not being fair. What you've got is people who are very, very scared that they're not going to get their benefits, that they're not going to get the money to feed themselves unless they come and stack shelves for you. What people want is a chance. What people want is a wage. What do you want? What do you want?
Thank you. Is the CEO of Poundland within this store right now? Because if they are, then this is a cordial invitation to come out with your hands up. You are rumbled. Thank you. To say Poundland have been very, very, very naughty in employing profits. So if you'd like a free hug, please report to the lovely young man with the free hug sign. Thank you. Today, in regards to Poundland's business practice. So if you'd like a quick read to get you just a little bit angry, then please take one of our leaflets. Thank you.
Business practices. Because you know, if I was Mr. Poundland and I'd made £31 million last year, and I'd asked people on benefits to come and be my butler, would you like to be my chauffeur? You can be my chauffeur. It's just the same as stacking shelves for Poundland. You can do that for your benefit. I only made £31 million last year, so for your benefit, you can learn to be my chauffeur. Just like stacking shelves at Poundland. You know, there are people who have part-time jobs, and they're getting their hours slashed, because there are people working on benefits in the shop where they used to work. Okay, that's slave labour. Just in case you haven't woken up and smelt the coffee. If you want to work for me and be my chauffeur, you know, I'll be Mr. Poundland. I made £31 million last year. You can come to my house. Come stack my shelves. Okay, that's not fair. That's not real. If you give somebody a chance, they'll work hard. If you treat somebody like a peasant, yeah, that's not fair. No, we're not asking people not to shop at Poundland. We're just telling you what's going on. But one day soon, you know, we'll say enough is enough. And I hope you get the message now, Poundland. It's not fair.
Even our canine companions are angry about the fact that Poundland employs slave labour. live in right now is based on infinite growth and infinite consumption. However, we do not live on an infinite resource planet. Therefore, the system we live in right now is mathematically unsustainable. There is only one thing that exists in nature that behaves exactly like our current system. And I do apologise to anyone who may be affected by this word. If you're curious at all, I myself am a survivor of it. And I'm afraid to say the only thing that behaves exactly like our current system is called cancer. It's not sustainable, ladies and gentlemen. We need to move out of the capitalist system. We need to move out into any system that is based on money, or any system of debt, barter, trade, or indentured servitude. We need to move out of it because it creates very despotic behaviours. It creates very nasty business practices because business is predicated upon the profit motive. Profit does not care for you. It does not care. It cannot care. It never has cared. It never will care. The only thing that capitalism can do is run itself into the ground, killing us all in the process. Now keep that in mind and do some research into what we can do instead. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Poundland warning. You want to be very, very careful because Poundland has people who don't earn a living working for them. They have to go and stack shelves at Poundland for their benefits. Keep themselves fed, keep a roof over their head. It'd be nice to have a proper job. Poundland pays £10,937 and 3p a year. So do you know what that means? If you work a full week at Poundland, chances are you're going to need housing benefit. You're going to need working tax credits. Poundland made £31 million last year. And their staff are on benefits. Their staff are on benefits. So £31 million and Poundland are claiming benefit. Okay, I hear lots of people in the Daily Mail say about benefit cheats. About benefit cheats. Poundland are benefit cheats. I'll tell you why they're benefit cheats. Because the people who work there claim benefit. Poundland makes £31 million. Are you really happy that your taxes are going to line Poundland shareholders' pockets? Because that's the truth, I'm afraid. It's just the way it is.
See, you can just pan on the thing afterwards.
Yeah. Where are you going to have that up?
And she gave me the wrong number anyway for yours, so I didn't get it through. Right. Yeah, 07837.
No, he's already changed.
He's eating them up.
Maybe one thing we can ask ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, is a simple question. How can a system based on infinite growth and infinite consumption on a finite planet be sustainable? I leave you with that question in your mind. And maybe have a think about it, do your own research, and remember your own decision. Who is a fan of the film The Wizard of Oz? And since the Wicked Witch of the West was the antagonist of the film, then maybe you need to have another look at the film. Because if you look at it critically, with critical thinking mind, you realise that Glenda is actually the real antagonist of the film.
In their store, they can't give people proper jobs. No, they have people working for benefits. Do you know what that's like? If I was Poundland, and I'd made £31 million last year, and I had somebody being my chauffeur, for the experience, for their benefits, does that sound fair to you? Would you like to come and be my chauffeur, any of you? Just so you keep a roof over your head. Because that's what's happening in Poundland. You know, that's slave labour. You come, you stack my shelves in my cupboard, just for your benefit. You know, there are people who'd be happy to have a job, to have the chance of earning a proper wage. But it's not happening because Poundland employ people for their benefits. Like I said, if I made 31 million quid last year, do you want to come and stack my shelves? Do you want to come and be my chauffeur? Because that's what's happening. It's happening right here, in your high street. You know, slave labour has come to Britain, courtesy of Poundland. That's what's happening. And it's not just Poundland. There are other stores on this high street that are doing the same. You know, Honda Barrett, they've got 250 stores. And they've got 1,000 people on work placements for jobs that aren't there. There are people who work part-time at Honda Barrett. They work 26 hours a week. But no, they got people on benefits there who are doing their jobs. So now they're lucky if they get 6 hours a week. Does that sound fair? Does that sound right? Because I tell you what, that's happening right here, right now, in your high street. Okay? So, go and shop at your local store. You know, go and support your local businesses, because they don't employ people on slave labour. You know, because that's what Poundland are doing.
In a circle, which means registered trademark. Not only that, but there is also a little graphic next to it, which is 2 stalks of wheat in a circular fashion, right? What other corporations have that logo? Maybe the United Federation of Planets in Star Trek, which, by the way, is a dictatorship. Maybe that's something to keep in mind. Thank you.
I've got little children with me, I don't want them on your camera.
Yeah, if you're taking pictures of kids, you are not allowed to. It is illegal to do kids.
I'm afraid it's not illegal to film people in public. It's not illegal to film people in public. It's not. I'm afraid it's not illegal to film people in public. It's not.
Cameras are breaking the law.
The CCTV cameras are different. They have a more
CCTV cameras film you every day. You know, you are allowed to be filmed in public. That's the truth. We are living in a free country. Out the public.
Can I take your name? Yeah, you can my name. My name.
and your phone. No, I'm not partners. We're going to...
Yeah, you're right.
It's exploitation. You know, if I made £31 million last year, and I asked you to come and be my butler or my chauffeur, you'd think I was cheating the system, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just like to make one public statement, okay? We are peaceful human beings. We do not wish to cause any harm, loss, or fraud to another human being. We are standing in a public area. We may be filming, however, that is completely and utterly lawful. It is also completely lawful to use a megaphone in a public place. We may be receiving heckles from a member of the public, however, we are maintaining a peaceful front because we are peaceful people. Okay? If anyone is offended by what we are saying, then we do apologise. However, that is not our intention. We are peaceful people. The police may have been called, however, the police are acting as peace officers because they are sworn to uphold the common law, a body of law which we, as free human beings, are acting within. We are not causing a breach of any law. And if the police know their stuff, then they will uphold our rights. Thank you very much. Empirical fact that if you challenge the status quo, then you automatically don't have a job.
She's on his wife.
They cheat right.
This is good for you now, mate, isn't it?
Fuck off!
We'll have to get the old bill here.
Why did you want to shout to your face? Because you told me to keep out your face.
And then just before you went out, I
Right. The police are allowed to film people, but they're saying I'm not allowed to take out my telephone and film anybody else right here in public. Is that right, Mr. Police Officer? Is that right, Miss PCSO?
Should we go outside and leave what's happening to our camera?
If you don't want your children to be filmed, don't go out in public, because apparently you can be filmed when you're out in public. Film you. If you don't want your children to be filmed, do not take them out in public. Thank you.
This is how you do it. You give another human being a hug.
It's free. TV cameras down the street. But just in case, if you don't want your children to be filmed, don't take them out in public. It says when you're on TV cameras, look through your children. And if you're the kind of person that's so scared that you don't want your children to be filmed, don't take them out in public. Be afraid. Keep them wrapped up. Keep them at home. Don't let them go out and be filmed.
But creating a scene is not illegal. Now, I'll tell you what, I'd like to give a short quote from Charlie Beach when he says that you're allowed to make a scene, you're allowed to scream for joy, you're allowed to cry, you're allowed to complain, you're allowed to love people, you're allowed to hug people. And we're starting to live in a world where we're starting to feel scared, we're starting to forget just how divine we are and special we are as human beings. Every single one of you is the only one of you that will ever exist. And there's not a single authority on this world, especially not PCSOs or police officers, who can tell you how to behave at any time, any place, anywhere. You are free, you will live free, you were born free, and you will die free. The only change that exists is within your mind. You can do anything you want if you put your mind to it. So remember, you are a beautiful, wonderful, unique, and creative human being. You do not need material possessions to make you happy. I am a fellow human being, love every single one of you from the bottom of my heart. And when we realise that love that exists within us, we can truly be peaceful. Thank you.